Hey, what's going on, guys? All in channel, host Sega Forever here. I'm going to do this quick video for you talking about Xbox Game Pass and what the future of Game Pass for Microsoft means. Now, if you guys are like me, you know it's E3 2021. Microsoft and Bethesda have a combined showcase that they'll be doing on Sunday. Hopefully, I can watch that live, but I probably won't because it's a Sunday, and for me, Sunday is the Lord's Day. So, and I think it's going to be at 10 o'clock, which I will probably be in church. So, I'll definitely have to catch up on the show afterwards. And possibly I'll try and post a video on my channel for Monday. Probably will be on Monday, giving you guys my thoughts on what I thought about the showcase. But of course, look, the hype is real. The buildup is huge. There's a lot of stuff flying all over the internet concerning not just Microsoft, but the gaming industry in general. But the focus, I mean, if we're all being honest, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an Xbox fan, the focus on this E3 is definitely what Microsoft is going to do. And as the weeks have been going on, Microsoft has been basically dominating the headlines when it comes to gaming news. Good and bad, the majority of it very good. And even the bad stuff is not bad. It's just a lot of, let's be honest, it's just a lot of salty gamers out there who can't stand the fact that Microsoft is actually changing the narrative, man. And like I said on this channel, if you follow me on this channel, you guys know I've been talking about that a lot. Sorry, I've been putting out the amount of videos that I wanted to put out, but I've been covering it ad nauseum. Did some really great videos with Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer. You can check out those videos on this channel. I always enjoy his perspective when it comes to anything gaming industry, especially when it comes to Microsoft. He definitely knows his stuff. So yeah, definitely check out those videos if you want to. As for me, you know, again, as people that follow this stuff closely and consume both not just gaming as a culture, but as an industry, when we're talking about news, we're talking about rumors, we're talking about tech, we're talking about all of that. This is what we do. And this is our time of the year, man. So, I want to echo what I hear a lot of other Xbox personalities here on YouTube talk about, which is the excitement factor. Um, yeah, man, definitely be excited. I mean, when I started thinking about E3 about 2 months ago, and then a month ago, man, there's a lot of people that was kind of detracting because it looks like it's going to be Microsoft E3 is going to be dominated by Microsoft, and rightfully so. I mean, they've been dominating the headlines, like I said. So why it would make sense that Microsoft would dominate this E3. Now, I'm not saying that there's not other things that are going to come out, or there's not other things to get excited about. I mean, Jeff Keighley did his little summer showcase thing. I tried to watch it, I couldn't, man. Look, you guys know I'm an Xbox guy. I can't stand the dude. Personally and professionally, man, I just think he's a Sony fanboy. Um, but look, if you like gaming and stuff like that, definitely check out the show. It's definitely geared towards a multi-platform type of thing, so that's another reason why I didn't really care for it. I'm just basically focused on Xbox right now. Now, if you guys are PlayStation and Nintendo, man, you guys do you. I'm not sitting here trying to say that you can't be, but as for me, my focus is on Xbox. And like I said, for E3 2021, man, Xbox looks like to dominate what's going on. So, case in point, man, the reason why I'm doing this video is I definitely want to talk about Game Pass, and more specifically, the possibility of Xbox picking up more studios. In my conversations with Hebot, both offline and online, especially when we had that video where we talked about Game Pass in general, um, I made a point to say that Microsoft definitely changed the game last year when they picked up Bethesda Studios, and it came back around again. That effect came back around again when the deal actually went through and it became official, right? And so in doing that, man, Microsoft not only bolstered Game Pass, man, it just changed the entire way this industry perceived Game Pass. Now, there are a few people, I'll mention people like Alana Pierce, who are doing videos talking about what a great value Game Pass was, and this is before the Bethesda purchase. And of course, you got guys like myself, um, and the guys on the Xbox side, guys like Eba, Sega Man, MW Prime, Erock X, Don King of Xbox. A lot of guys in our little section of Xbox community that knew that. from the get-go. I mean, I've been impressed with Game Pass since it launched, and it's only gotten better, right? So I mean, even though since the launch of Game Pass, man, Microsoft put a lot of time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into making the service as good as it is, man. But again, it just had a lot of haters. And but once Microsoft picked up Bethesda, man, it flexed that muscle. You know, when I mean by muscles, it flexed that money. Um, it made people pay attention. It made people notice, and people had no choice. Microsoft literally forced everybody to take them more seriously when it came to Game Pass. Um, so you know, when I every time like I talked about in the video with Eli, man, every time I hear that Microsoft is thinking about purchasing studios and other developers, or doing deals like they did with Second Extinction, MLB The Show, making it day one on Game Pass, stuff like that. I mean, I'm all for it because you know once the announcements are coming out that Microsoft might buy um, one or two big name studios, or like three or four, maybe even five smaller studios. You know, whether it's AAA, AA, indie, I don't really care. For me, yeah, I mean, I'm all in. I'm all in with them buying more studios and getting more content because ultimately that's what Game Pass is going to boil down to. You know, in order to keep that subscriber base growing, which is at about 18 million, what you want to do is just have the right amount of content, but you just have to have content. And when I say the right amount of content, you know, there is a balancing act that Microsoft has to do when it comes to these kind of things. But if the subscriptions keep growing, man, that won't be as much of a problem, right? Because if you get the numbers up there, like what I'm looking at, if this thing continues to grow by the end of the year, if Microsoft can get 40 to 50 million subscribers in Game Pass, that would be awesome. That would be awesome for everybody. Unless you're a salty hater on the PlayStation side, yeah, you probably won't like it. Paying $70 for your AAA games, you know, like I said, you do you. But for the rest of us, the people who are casuals or the people who are hardcore Xbox, the guys on this side of the ecosystem, when it comes to Microsoft's services, for us it'll be a good thing because what it does is it just makes sure that Microsoft's getting more money into the pot, that they can go out and continue to do these kind of things um, to make money. Look, Microsoft is in this to make money. But the great thing about the way they're doing it is they're making money, but at the same time bringing everybody along with them. Okay, so if you play a low subscription price, maybe they can work on that $14.99. I definitely hope they keep it at that level. Um, you know, a lot of people compare Game Pass to Netflix, and in doing so, you know, a lot of things are going to get compared with Netflix that people like and don't like. And one of the things people don't like right now with Netflix is their pricing, right? How it's going up. Um, Now, Netflix is providing the content, but once the money aspect starts going out where people are noticing that they're paying for the service, that's when it gets a little bit tricky. Right now, the reason why Netflix is or Game Pass is so successful is it's a subscription service, but people aren't feeling that subscription price yet, and that's something that Microsoft I hope is thinking about. Given everything they've done so far, I'm pretty sure they are. Um, so the goal right now is to keep the price at a level where people notice it every month. They're not looking at that expenditure out of their bank account or stuff like this. A lot of us, we sign up and do it automatically, right? They just take it out every month. But once people start noticing it, then you're gonna have to retool as far as your pricing when it comes to Game Pass. But right now, people aren't enjoying it because they know that there's value in a $14.99 monthly service that provides you the amount of games that you're getting that Game Pass gives you. And then with all the day one stuff, that's just, you know, right now that's like the cherry on top of the sundae. At some point in time, they're going to have to address that. And one of the ways you address that is just keep on adding more games. Just keep on adding more games, picking up whatever studios you need to pick up. Because, again, a lot of people are looking at that and it's like, you know, there's just too much. You know, Microsoft is doing this one. You know, number one, Microsoft just doesn't listen to anybody. You know, I'm pretty sure they do the numbers. They analyze all this stuff. They got the people that get paid to do this kind of stuff. And the reason why I say that is because Microsoft has been hitting it out of the ballpark for the last couple of years. You know? And they've been doing it with all the hate, you know, with all the salty, you know, people that say they're Xbox people, but they really aren't. Um, don't care less about the console, could care less about Microsoft themselves, could care less about Xbox, the brand, and the company as a whole, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. So there's really no reason for Microsoft to basically listen to them. I mean, look, they always take people's suggestions into consideration, but they just need to keep on doing what they're doing. And I think they're on the right path. Right? You add all these new studios in there, you start producing more content, and not everything has to be AAA. You know, I made a video ranting about that on my channel. I can't wait till that narrative is dead, because not everybody plays AAA games, and the AAA games that everybody's playing is not the high art stuff that people want to say, that want to put up there all the time as a talking point whenever there's a console war, or to put their console over another console. Again, when I did that video, I compared these AAA games to like the Oscar nominated movies. You know, yeah, they might get critical praise, they might get a bump, maybe do a couple million. I mean, I don't think most of them break 100 million, if even that. And the only way that they make money off of that is normally the cost production's low on it. Okay? But they get all this recognition, get all these critics come in saying how great it is, you know. Then you got the people that are into that kind of stuff saying how great it is. Meanwhile, Marvel goes and releases the Avengers and just totally destroys um, every Oscar-nominated movie that released that year, one of their movies, right? So that's what I can't wait to this narrative that AAA is dead, man, because there's a lot of different people that play games, and if you guys have been seeing what Microsoft has been talking about, man, gaming for everyone, right? That's just not a catch. That's just not a catchphrase for them, man. It's not a talking point. It's not just a check on a box. They actually believe that stuff. Trust me, man. As an Xbox guy, rocking out with them since the original Xbox, I can tell you that that's true. Right? I mean, they're especially with Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella. When you listen to them talk, man, you guys might think that they're just giving platitudes. Yeah, they definitely want your money, man. But these guys, and I'll say this, man, because I'm not one of this, I'm not one of the type of guys. As you guys know, man, my channel used to be Xbox All In. I changed it to All In channel because of some of the stuff that Microsoft does, as far as the things they promote and their ideology when it comes to politics and stuff like that. I'm not with. And on my channel, I plan to make some videos that will go against that. So I didn't want to affiliate my channel with their brand specifically, even though I am an Xbox guy and I will continue to be an Xbox guy. I will continue to support them, especially on the gaming front, because they're doing everything right. Everything else that they do, you know, on the tech front, I'm really fine about. But as you guys know, Microsoft likes to go out there and do their little SJW stuff, and you know that's what I mean when I talk about their when they say the things that they say, they actually believe it. It's their ideology, okay? And then we benefit from that, right? As long as they're not out there trying to shut other people down. It's kind of funny, man, because I follow this channel on YouTube, The Quartering, and they an Xbox official. I think it was either their Twitter account, whatever they banned it or they blocked it, and I thought it was funny because I didn't whatever he was saying about it. You know, it's all common knowledge. If you like I said, I've been doing Xbox since day one with these guys, and I'm not talking day one 2013. I mean from when the first Xbox first came out, and then when Live was the thing, man. You guys know as well as I do, man. It was bad. It was bad. If you get some of the guys who get so easily offended now, playing on Xbox back then, dude, they wouldn't make it. It was that bad. It was that crazy. But that's just the way it was, man. That was part of the culture of the time. Now, Microsoft made a conscious effort to change that, and I think they went about it the right way, right? But that's why for some of you guys who are out there playing on these games, man, you wonder why nobody talks. You know, it's kind of like, you know, that newness is gone. Number one, and number two, man, it's just been kind of people have been trained to do that, and it's a different. It's you know, we're about 20 years removed from that, so. Um, Yeah, so again, it's not just talking points from Microsoft, man. They believe everything they're telling you, man. They honestly believe that, and it shows. It shows on what they're doing, man. You know, they've kind of built this ecosystem, and their ecosystem, because of that philosophy they have about including everybody, is basically why you got a lot of the good stuff you have right now. You know, and I think that's case in point. You know, with Phil Spencer, I know he's taking a lot of heat right now for he supposedly threw shade at Sony or whatever like that. When I heard the comments, I guess you could say, right, just because Sony doesn't do the same things that Microsoft does, especially on the Xbox side. Um, but I mean, you know, I think he was talking in more general. You know, I don't think he's just talking about Sony specifically. He's talking about a lot of stuff. You can look at a lot of different companies and other across the board that don't do what Microsoft does. And for me, it's not him pointing out towards them like specifically right to them. It's basically him promoting what they have, right? Which is what they've been doing the last 5 years, man. Ever since 2013, man. Look, I don't want to go on a rant, but ever since 2013, man, they've been dealing with this crap from the gaming media, from all the haters, man, from the Sony side, right? And then you had all the noobs that would just jump on board with that. You had people making videos for clickbait. You had people making videos because they actually believe the crap, And basically, Microsoft has changed that narrative again, man. And this is where we are right now. So, like I say on my channel all the time, if you're new to my channel and you never heard me say this, I'll say it again for you guys right now, right? If you've never watched my videos before, you know, Microsoft had to change everything, right? They changed the whole equation. And I give them kudos for that, man, because that is not easy to do. Now it doesn't hurt that they're a $1 trillion company, so I mean, like I always say, that's kind of their superpower, right? But with all the hate they were getting for all these years, man, for them to little by little start changing all of that, and then again, we benefit from it, man. This is why where we are. This is why we have Game Pass, right? This is why there's generational stuff from Xbox One or Xbox and Xbox Series XS all the way to Xbox or Xbox One S, One X, all the way to Series S, Series X, right? And this is why you're getting all the frames per second increases from 60 or 120, right? They're doing all the stuff that they knew they needed to do. Number one, because they needed to be competitive, right? And in getting constantly hammered about how horrible they are, man, they reinvented themselves. They took a long, hard look at themselves, listened to what people are telling them, and they made those changes. And this is why we are where we are right now. And I think it's awesome. And again, coming back to one of my videos about Game Pass, this is going to be the new normal. And in order for this to be the new normal, man, they need content. And again, I'll go back to this. I mean, you guys know how I feel. I hope they buy Sega. I hope they pick up some of the indie guys that have been rocking with them. My boy Hebot just did a video on Recore. It looks amazing. It's a Recore in 4K gameplay. Go check out his channel. Again, it's Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer. He basically showcased Recore, which is one of the best games on Xbox, which was killed because of all the hate that Xbox is receiving. That's another game that we'll never get a franchise from. Definitely not perfect, right? But when I say definitely not perfect, nowhere near bad at all. Because I can't stand when people do that too, man. People make excuses for Xbox. Even when they go in to talk about Xbox and the good that Xbox is doing, they'll start off by saying throwing shade at Xbox. And I'm not going to do that, man. Recore was an awesome game. When I'm talking about some of the problems, is they did have some. There was a little bit of thing technically, man, but nothing that'll take you out of that game. Especially if you're a gamer, dude. The level design I loved. The story was awesome. People are talking about how everything seemed redundant. Dude, that's about in every game you're gaming. Right? All that tells me, man, with a game like Recore is you can't suspend belief long enough to actually get into the game and enjoy it. You probably had a bias towards that game because you can't stand Microsoft. And a lot of you guys will push back against that, and I'll push back against you by saying it this way, right? This is why you have games like Cyberpunk, right, that had issues, and then you have games like what's the other one that came out? Anthem, that had issues, right? But just think about it this way, right? Both those games were showcased on Xbox stages at E3, both of them, right? Now, if that was showcased on a Nintendo stage, does Nintendo even do that anymore? I don't know. Or let's use Sony then. If it was on Sony stage and nobody would have said anything. Nobody would have been as picky. Nobody would have been sitting there counting all the little pixels, right? Is that 1080p, 980p? And that's what these people do, right? All these people, and then that's what the media runs with as well. Right? And it's destroying, man. It's destroying gaming, dude, because not every game is going to be perfect. Like, everybody wants everything the way they want it, and they want everything to be perfect, man. Like I said 1,000 times, and I'll say it again tonight, man. If you guys were back in the 80s playing video games, man, this industry would have folded a long time ago. We wouldn't be where we are, right? Because it's for the love of the game, dude. It's a love of the culture, and a lot of you guys don't have that. Anyway, let me get off this rant. Sorry, I just drank my energy drink. So, should Microsoft buy studios? Yes. Should they buy 10 studios? Yeah. Should they buy 20 studios? Yeah. Should they buy 50 studios? Yeah. They buy as many as they need to. Right? Look, I'm all in when it comes to Game Pass, dude. I'm all in when it comes to this ecosystem. And if that's what Microsoft needs to do to make Game Pass successful, and I'm talking like bulletproof, right? And it's already to some extent bulletproof, man, because you have games that if they would have launched on Xbox or launched on an E3 Xbox stage like Outriders, if that was like a timed exclusive, which they wouldn't do times. If that showed up on the Microsoft stage at an E3, right, and it was coming to Microsoft Day One, right? Maybe later for Sony PlayStation. But if Microsoft did that, right, that game would get nothing but hate. But when you have it in something like Game Pass, where everybody can play, because not just Xbox guys have Game Pass now. There's people that are coming over to get Game Pass because of the deal. And what they're finding out is that, this is not shovelware that they're playing. They're not just downloading crappy games. Like you have your one or two great games, right? You have your Forza and your Halo, and then your Gears, and then everything else is just trash. No, they're finding out that there's all kind of games in there for all type of variety, all type of genres, right? Games, again, this is what people are saying, games that I thought I'd never want to play, or games that people are curious about trying but didn't want to fork down the money. They end up playing it, enjoying it, right? And then they end up buying it. I know that's what I'm doing with a lot of the games I'm playing on there, right? And that's why I love Game Pass, because this is the way it should have been from 2013 and on. There's so many games that the Xbox had. Rise Son of Rome is a perfect example. You know, well, it's not a triple A game. Okay, well, it's a double A game. And if that makes you feel better, then we'll say it's a double A game. But there's a lot of stuff about that game. There's far more good that outweighs the bad. And the only thing that I could give you credit for if you don't like the game is it's not your cup of tea. If you don't like that type of game, granted, right? It's just like everybody's doing. What is it? Elden Ring. It looks cool. I like this. The story looks interesting. The premise looks interesting to me. But then when I watch the gameplay, man, it reminds me of all these, like these Dead Soul games, man. I just don't like those kind of games. These games where you're just constantly getting wrecked for no apparent reason, and then one time you get lucky and then you pass. I mean, if there was a skill level, but to me, when I watch other people play, man, you're just getting brutally beaten, brutally beaten, and then you get lucky, and then you move to the next guy to get brutally beaten. Which is sad because I didn't know that's the type of game it was, and then when I watched the trailer, I really, just the look of it overall, because I like fantasy stuff, I love the look of the world, right? And like I said, the premises sound great, but then when I watch the gameplay, so it's not my thing, so I probably won't, get into that. Now, if it's on Game Pass, I can download it and try it, and that's the great thing about Game Pass. That's why Game Pass is like a shield now for Microsoft, right? Because it circumvents all these people that could hate on Microsoft and Xbox, right? All the game reviewers, all the digital foundries, right? Sitting over there going line by line over all the little details, right? Guys talking about boring gameplay and all this kind of stuff. Well, it doesn't matter anymore, right? Because once Game Pass gets bigger, and then you start bringing that general population in, and people are playing it, right? And this is why a lot of you guys look psychotic now on the PlayStation side, right? You guys are over there making videos on Twitter, losing your minds, talking about this is trash that you pay $70 for your quality game, when you guys are bitching with Xbox One came out, and then you guys say what, $499.99? That's who you guys were, right? And then you said, well, PlayStation's better because it's $399, which is $100 different. As a gamer, as a hardcore gamer, you guys are supposed to be hardcore gamers, right? And then now look at you guys defending $70 games. Look, it's your money, man. I'm not here to tell you what to do, right? But that's again, it's a hypocrisy thing. This is what irks me the most about this gaming community. It's all that hypocrisy. But anyway, this video ran way too super long. Sorry about that. You guys can cut it off if you want to. But I had to get that off my chest. But again, I didn't want to come off really negative, man, because I think this is really good. I think this is great news. It's great to see that with Satya Nadella, Satya and Phil, there's a clip that you can see. Go to Xbox Wire if you guys don't go to Xbox Wire. Xbox Wire's got all the good stuff. I absolutely love this website. But go over there, check it out. There's a clip you can see on social media as well, and definitely on YouTube, where Satya Nadella and Phil are talking about the future of Xbox. And it definitely, Satya and Microsoft are behind Xbox and Xbox Gaming and Game Pass 100%. And it's interesting how it's interwoven into Microsoft proper. Because Xbox is Microsoft, but Microsoft has its own. It's a tech giant, it's a software giant, right? But it's interesting how everything's interwoven and everything's cross pollination. Which it wasn't. If you guys know the story, man, when you talk to Seamus Blackley, who was kind of like the founder of, like we call him the grandfather of Xbox, out of respect. But how he talked about some of the meetings he was in, and that Xbox was kind of treated as a redheaded stepchild, and they're definitely not anymore. And that's just from management above, from Satya to the guys on the front line, which is Phil and all them, Phil, Aaron, and all the people that work with Xbox Games, Xbox Studios, and yeah, it's good to see, man. So great news. I hope they pick up a lot of studios. I hope they pick up the studios that I like. First and foremost, Sega. I want to get some of those Sega games on Game Pass, just at my fingertips, ready at my disposal at any time. Also, if they also get the rights for some of those games, because that's going to be the hardest part. If they can put it into Game Pass 10-1, then you'll be able to purchase it, because some of these games are hard to get. And if you can't get them, then they're expensive, especially on the Sega Saturn side. Because I definitely would love, I would definitely love for them to get Sega. I would love for them to get the Saturn games, and then there's games that are in that Saturn collection, at least on the American side, that they could continue, which they did in the Japanese side. There were series that came out afterwards. The initial one that came out here in America, they did some in Japan that never made it overseas. So that could be something that Sega can work towards if Microsoft picks them up. The possibilities are endless. I know people are talking about WB. I'm fine with that too. Um, Anything that will give them more content and give them quality content, right? I think that Microsoft right now, they realize that, and that's what they're working towards. And like I said, I'm all in. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video now. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying E3 2021. There's a lot of events that are going on every day. Of course, for me as an Xbox guy, looking forward to the big conference on Sunday. Probably I won't be able to watch it live. Try and catch it later on that evening, on the afternoon. But yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts, and I'm posting more stuff on my channel. I want to continue to put out more of the pop culture stuff. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. I'll start bringing you, I'll start bringing you some stuff that I'm actually checking out as far as content, whether it's on Netflix or movies that I've gotten on Voodoo and stuff like that. Especially if you're like me and you're more on the conservative bent, or you're more on the entertainment bent, I should say. Like you just want to watch movies for the sake of watching movies. To be entertained and not being preached to, and getting away from the ills of the world. Escapism is dying. You have to deal with stuff at work. You have to deal with stuff in the real world with everything that's going on. Then you just want to come and watch a movie. And when you watch the movie, and you find out that you're a Nazi or a homophobe. So, uh, and that's across the board, man. It's in gaming, it's in comic books, they're trying to get it into anime. But I'll do that on my channel, man. We'll start talking about this. Like I told you guys before, I have to do things that I like, or else I'm gonna lose interest. That's why I don't put out a lot of videos like I used to. But this I'll definitely do. And then I'll talk about E3 tomorrow night, guys. I'll put in a video. I'll try and do one tomorrow morning, but you guys will probably see it in the evening, because I do want to give my thoughts on E3 2021, because I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Microsoft does. But we'll talk about more of that in the next video. Alright, on the channel, Post Safer Forever. We out.